Have you ever wondered why some ancient scriptures seem to say different things depending on the version you read? It's not just translation, some verses have actually been removed. These are what many now call deleted verses. They were once part of sacred texts, but over time, certain phrases, lines, or entire passages were taken out during revisions or translations. Sometimes it was due to missing manuscripts. Other times, it was because the verse was seen as too mystical, too controversial, or too powerful. One of the most talked about examples is a verse that speaks of spiritual alignment and unseen forces. A verse that hints at a deeper kind of faith, one that moves mountains and opens doors no man can close. But in many modern versions of sacred books, this verse is gone. Quietly removed, without most readers even realizing it. Why would something be removed if it was harmless? That's the question many seekers and spiritual researchers have asked. The truth is, some verses carry energy. Not just meaning, but actual vibrational power. And when spoken with belief, they activate something within you, and around you. In this video, I'm going to share one such verse with you. A verse that's rarely spoken about. One that you won't find in most modern versions, but which still exists in older texts and hidden teachings. And I'll show you how to use it, not in a complicated ritual, but in a very simple way. You only need 1 minute, a quiet place, and a decision to keep it private. That's all. This is not just about repeating words. It's about unlocking something ancient that still lives in the vibration of sound, silence, and belief. Keep watching, because what you're about to hear might shift something in your life. So, what exactly is a deleted verse? It's a line or passage that once appeared in ancient religious texts, especially in older versions of the Bible, but has been removed or left out in many modern translations. These verses were not always taken out because they were false or wrong. In most cases, they were removed because they didn't appear in the earliest surviving manuscripts that translators used as their source. But that doesn't mean those verses weren't once believed or shared widely. Let's take an example, Matthew 17 verse 21. In older versions of the Bible, like the King James Version, this verse reads, "However, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting." It's a powerful line. It talks about the need for deep spiritual focus and discipline to overcome certain struggles. But if you look at many newer versions, such as the NIV or ESV, you'll find that this verse is missing entirely or placed in a footnote. Why? Because the earliest Greek manuscripts that modern scholars relied on didn't include it. But here's the thing, just because a verse isn't in the earliest copy doesn't mean it didn't exist. It may have been passed down through oral tradition. It may have appeared in manuscripts that were lost or destroyed. And yet, this verse remained part of the Bible for centuries. People believed in its power. They practiced what it said. And many claimed to see results. That's the mystery behind deleted verses. They live in the space between written history and spiritual experience. And when you come across one, especially one as impactful as Matthew 17 verse 21, it makes you wonder what else might have been taken out, and why. The verse that was once spoken with great reverence, and later removed from many modern texts, is simple, but powerful. It reads, "This kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting." Let those words settle for a moment. This kind does not go out, except by prayer and fasting. This verse was originally found in Matthew 17 verse 21. For generations, it was repeated by spiritual teachers, monks, and believers who trusted in its strength. It wasn't just read, it was practiced. They believed that some challenges, some energies, some deeply rooted problems could not be removed with ordinary effort. That to shift certain conditions, a person had to go deeper, beyond words, into full alignment through prayer and fasting. But over time, this verse quietly disappeared from modern versions. Not because it lost value, but because it wasn't found in the earliest surviving manuscripts that scholars chose to use. Still, in older texts, it remained untouched, carrying with it a kind of quiet authority. Imagine whispering this verse in a moment of need. Not rushing through it. just repeating it with intention. This kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. Again and again. Like a key turning in a hidden lock. People who've discovered this verse in older Bibles often say they feel something the moment they read it aloud. A sense of focus. A kind of stirring. Not because the verse is magical, but because of what it calls you to do. It doesn't promise instant results. Instead, it invites you into a deeper practice. A stronger connection. A path that requires discipline, not just desire. And maybe that's why it once held such special power, and why it quietly vanished from sight. The message of this verse is simple, but it carries deep meaning. This kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. On the surface, it seems to be about removing something negative. But look a little deeper, and you'll see, it's about transformation. Real, lasting change. The kind that doesn't come from quick fixes or surface-level effort. It tells us that some problems, some blocks, some stubborn patterns in life, whether emotional, spiritual, or even financial, don't move easily. They're rooted deep. And to shift them, you need more than wishful thinking. You need focused prayer. Stillness. Silence. And fasting, not just from food, but maybe from distractions, from fear, from anything that dulls your connection to something higher. That's where the impact lies. Because when you repeat this verse, you're not just saying words. You're reminding yourself that change starts from within. You're telling your mind and your spirit to prepare, to become clearer, more aligned. It becomes a signal to the universe that you're serious. That you're not just hoping, you're willing to act, to trust, to stay committed. And when that kind of energy meets intention, something powerful happens. People have used this verse as a spiritual anchor before setting goals, before making big life decisions, or when they feel stuck in cycles they can't explain. They repeat it quietly, like a mantra, and with each repetition, it strengthens their inner resolve. It tunes their thoughts to clarity. It invites peace. And over time, results start to show, sometimes subtly, sometimes all at once. The power isn't just in the verse. It's in what the verse awakens inside you. To truly feel the power of this verse, you need to approach it with intention. Not just saying it, but entering into it. And the first step is simple: find a quiet place. Somewhere you won't be disturbed. It doesn't need to be fancy. A corner of your room. A spot by your bed. Even your car, parked and silent. What matters is that you feel alone, calm, and ready to connect. Once you're in that space, take a breath. Let the outside world fade away, just for a minute. Then, slowly begin to repeat the verse out loud. This kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. Say it clearly. Say it with feeling. Not rushed, not robotic. Just steady and calm. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're just aligning yourself, your energy, your thoughts, your focus, with the deeper meaning behind these words. Repeat it over and over for 1 full minute. You may notice your breathing slows down. Your thoughts begin to clear. Something begins to shift, softly, inside you. This is more than a phrase. It's a declaration. A reminder to your spirit that you're willing to go deeper than surface-level change. And here's the important part: keep it private. Don't share this with others. Don't post about it. Don't tell your friends. Keep it between you and the universe. This is your personal key, and its strength grows in silence. When something is kept sacred, it holds more power. Speaking the verse in secret creates a quiet energy that starts to work in your life. You don't have to explain it. Just trust it. Let it do what it's meant to do. Let the results speak for themselves. In the days after you begin repeating this verse, you may start to notice small shifts. Not loud or dramatic at first, but clear, unmistakable changes that feel like something has opened up. People often describe it as sudden clarity. A thought they've been struggling with suddenly becomes simple. A decision they couldn't make now feels obvious. It's like a fog lifting. You might also experience unexpected breakthroughs. Someone you haven't heard from suddenly reaches out with an opportunity. A door that felt closed begins to crack open. A solution you didn't think existed shows up in a way you couldn't plan. These aren't coincidences. They're signs that your inner shift is beginning to reflect in the outer world. For others, the change shows up as emotional peace. A weight you didn't know you were carrying starts to lift. You may feel lighter without knowing why. Arguments begin to quiet. Stressful thoughts seem less loud. You sleep better. You feel more at ease, even if nothing big has changed around you yet. Some people report a deep sense of renewed faith. Not just in a spiritual sense, but in life itself. You begin to trust the timing of things. You stop forcing outcomes and start allowing flow. It's subtle, but powerful. It's like aligning with a path that was always there, just waiting for you to slow down and find it. And the most surprising part? These changes come not from doing more, but from doing less. Just one verse, 1 minute, repeated in silence, with belief. That's the key. And once the shift begins, it tends to grow, gaining momentum, and drawing in more peace, more clarity, and more results. Without trying to explain it, you'll simply feel it working. If you want to truly feel the impact of this verse, don't treat it as a one-time ritual. Do it daily, just for a few days. 1 minute each day. That's all it takes. But those 60 seconds, done with intention, can become more powerful than hours of scattered effort. Each time you speak the verse, let it settle deeper. Let it become part of you. You don't need to force results. Just show up for that quiet moment. Let it be your time to connect, with yourself, with the energy around you, with the divine. But here's the most important part, say it with faith. Not just hope. Not just curiosity. Faith. Speak it as if something is already moving behind the scenes. Speak it like you believe it has already begun to shift your path. Faith doesn't need proof. It just needs trust. And the more you trust, the more things begin to happen that you can't quite explain, but you'll feel them. And stay quiet about it. Don't share what you're doing. Don't seek validation from others. This isn't a group activity. This is personal. This is sacred. When you keep it to yourself, you protect it. You allow the energy to build without interference. Your secret becomes your power. It becomes a kind of quiet agreement between you and the universe. You're saying, I believe, and I don't need anyone else to see it. Those who have tried this practice say the results feel almost magical. Not because of the words alone, but because of the commitment, the belief, and the silence. When you keep your faith private, it grows stronger. When you stay consistent, it begins to unfold. Just one verse, spoken with heart, held in secret, done daily, it can change everything. Now it's your turn. Find a quiet place. Say the verse for 1 minute. And keep it completely secret. Do it daily, do it with faith, and then, just watch what starts to happen. You might feel lighter. You might get answers you've been waiting for. Or you might simply notice your life begin to shift in quiet, powerful ways. Your life could change in days. If you do start seeing results, and many people do, you're welcome to share your experience in the comments. You can keep it anonymous if you'd like. This is a safe space for those who believe, and those who are ready to receive. And if this video spoke to you, give it a like to help more people discover this powerful practice. Don't forget to subscribe to Bright Mind Within for more teachings, verses, and powerful truths they rarely talk about, but that can truly change your life. Quick reminder before you go. Repeat the verse for 1 minute. Keep it secret. Let your results speak louder than words.